Alright, today's the 28th of August. And let's see. I printed you out some of the questions, some of the problems at the end of the chapter. Chapter 6. Name of the chapter is Percents and Their Applications. And I thought we'd work a few of these problems. Look at the top. It's page 163 of what I handed out. And you'll notice what happened here. I had two sheets that were front and back, and I fed them into the copier out there, and I forgot to tell it was front and back originals. So I got the top sheet. So I got 163 and 165. And I was trying to get 63, 64, 65, 66. So, another round with the calculator, and the calculator won. 6-1 through 6-6, y'all okay with that? We worked a bunch of those. How about 613 through 616? I'm not terribly worried about. If you had to do one of those, here's what I recommend. Let me get a calculator open here. Look at like 616. Just convert this fraction to a decimal. To percents. 6-16. So 11 divided by 12, that gives you the decimal, doesn't it? Now on a calculator, you could simply say, well, multiply that by 100. Okay? That's the same thing as moving the decimal places over two places, isn't it? So, calculator kind of makes it easy. Let's go on down here and do something interesting. Look at 623. So remember last week I said if there's a relationship, you can actually express it as a formula. Remember PBR? P being the portion is equal to the base times the rate. So what I want to do when we work these problems is let's identify what we're given and what we're looking for. So if you look at 623, we want, in this case it actually says solve for the portion. So 7% of 150. Now, think about this. Typically, you see 7%, any kind of percent, that's going to be the rate. In this case, we're told 7% of something. That something's going to be the base. Now, what we're looking for equals the rate. Now, is this in the, oops, not the rate, but the portion, excuse me. There's actually an eraser there. We're looking for the portion. Anybody in here got sinus trouble except me?
Especially when the seasons change.
Final accident yesterday.
have a steady drip, 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 and it's aggravating. All right. So did everybody see what I did there? I looked at what I was given and identified. Hmm? Didn't push enough buttons, did I? Well, I can do that. Hopefully it'll come on. You know, it's actually complicated. I have to start the Smart Notebook and the recorder, plug this thing in, turn this thing on, blow my nose. Should have done that first. I told you this teaching thing is just tough, complicated. By the way, in case you're interested, this is a wet paper towel. It's actually got a T stain on it. I'm just killing time here. Well, you set it up on top there and it kind of wicks up. So that's what that little brown. But I really like to do this. That's nice. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Oh, hey, we're on. So the point I want you to see here is when you read one of these problems, these type of problems, see if you can identify the rate, the base, and the portion. Hopefully, well, you're going to be given 2 of the 3 and you're looking for the other one. So after you identify what's the rate, what is the base, and what's the portion, 2 of the 3, you got to look and see if it conforms to the formula, this formula, or if you need to manipulate the formula around a little bit. So we're okay this time, aren't we? Because we're given our we're given the 2 numbers on this side, and we're looking for that one, so we're good, aren't we? We don't do anything else except change the rate to what?
A decimal.
Has to be a decimal. So we're just going to multiply. So this is 150. Calculator. Clear. 0.07 times 150. 10.5. And if I remember every time, I can actually do this, except I've lost it. Got to do that. I can actually show you what I did on the calculator. I just got to get back in the habit of doing that. Okay? We should actually be doing the even ones. So let's do an even. What looks hard in that section? Which one?
629.
29.
Sorry.
Well, we haven't been working those, but we might as well. 629. 12.5% of 919. Well, let's go on and identify this first. I see a percentage here, so I'm going to take a shot and say that's a rate. And it says of a certain number, so I'm going to estimate that's probably the base. And the only thing that's left is the portion, isn't it? So now, what do we have to do here to this rate?
Let's change the decimal.
We have to change the decimal, but first we need to do what? First we have to deal with this 1/2, don't we? So 1/2 equals 0.5. And then if you add your 12% to that, you're going to have what? 12.5%. And as a decimal, that's what? 125. So now we can plug this in. 0.125 times 919 equals 0.125 114.875. Well, here's the thing. Let me take a shot of this and I'll tell you what happened. I'll show you what happened. Paste. Remember the other day I said for a lot of this class we're actually going to want to limit our calculator to 2 decimal places, and then I actually took mine off. So with this type of calculator and your calculator, if you don't have one like this, it's going to be different. If I go to mode, notice my second option there, that second line, it says float or 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. If I put that on 2 and press enter, I have limited this to showing me 2 decimal places. Now it will round up or down those other numbers that you can't see. Now watch. I'm going to just bail out of here a second, quit. Now remember, with this calculator I can do second entry and pull up the last thing I put in. Now when I press enter, watch what happens. That 5 rounded up to the next number, which is an 8. Okay, so for most of our purposes, we're going to be dealing with money. $114.88 is what we want. But for some things, it's like we want to see the 0.875. And you just got to do a little thinking when you're looking at your problem, whether you want to limit it to 2 decimal places or not. Okay? So that's why that happened. I'm going to put mine back on float for the time being. Alright, is everybody okay with that? So with these, first thing you do is deal with this. Turn the fraction into a decimal, and then you can add it to the whole number part, and then convert that to a decimal. Well, hopefully I'm going to go in to the online book and pick some of them out. And what I usually do, and I've got off on the wrong foot here, I usually work the even ones in class and let you work the odd ones. If you happen to have, look at the back of your printed copy and see if it's got the answers to the odd ones. That's what it usually has. You got any answers? They usually just give you the odd ones. The answers to the odd problems. Okay? So what do y'all got?
Yeah, it's the odd ones.
Okay. So usually I try to work the even ones out in class. Sometimes I get off on the wrong foot here. Alright. So let's see. I think we're okay with that section. The next section, it tells us what to do. It's just solve for the base. Round to the nearest hundredth as needed. So in that case, 2 decimal places would be fine, wouldn't it? Okay. So, in this case, it tells us what we're looking for. But still, let's think about this. I'm going to do 634. And that's a dash, isn't it? $36 is 0.75% of, okay, now let's break this down. I see a percentage. I'm betting that's a rate. Now, let's interpret these other, we got a blank and we've got a number. 36 is some part of something else. So I'm betting this is probably the base, and this is some part. I think in a lot of cases you can substitute the word part for portion, if that helps you understand what's going on. So 36 is 0.75% of some other number. Okay, now going back to our original relationship here, P, portion or part, equals base times the rate. Well, this time we're solving for the base, aren't we? So we need to do what? Yeah, divide each side by the rate. So the portion divided by the rate equals the base. Okay? Y'all okay with that, or you like it written like this? These are the same thing, but I prefer it like that myself. You just get used to looking at things like that. So we'll use that. So let's plug in some numbers now. Are we in first place? Do we have everything we need?
No.
So 0.75% is, what is a decimal? Point. It's point not, isn't it? Like Jethro would say. And yes, I actually watched the Beverly Hillbillies when it was on the first time. Yep. Let's just say there wasn't a whole lot to watch on TV back then. So let's plug these numbers in. So let's see, we decided that portion is 36 and our rate is 0.0075. That means the base is, according to the calculator, a lot, isn't it? 0.0075. 4,800? Is that what y'all got? Everybody okay with that? So let's see, let's work another one in that section. Of the even ones, which one do you like best?
Well, there's only one more even in that section.
Yeah, well, we can work. You want to work 37? 37 looks harder than 36. Let's work 37. I know it's an odd one, but we'll work it anyway. 637. 800 is 4.5% of something. Okay. Again, when I see a percentage, I'm thinking rate. And we got 800 is some percentage of some other number, and I'm betting this is the base, and this is the part or portion, whichever way you like to look at that. I'm actually liking part pretty well. Now again, we're solving for the base here. So we're going to need to use this version of our formula, aren't we? So the base equals the part or portion divided by the rate. 800 divided by, and just like last time, we have to do what?
Change that to the decimal.
So 4.5 is actually 4.5%, isn't it? So this would be what? 0.45? Calculator? Clear. 800 divided by 0.045. Is that what y'all got? 17,777.78 to the nearest hundredth. Interesting number, isn't it? I'll paste it over on this side.
Well, sevens.
Do everybody see why I rounded that? All right. Let's get us a new sheet here. All right. Look at the ones at the bottom of the page. 638 through 643. So let's look at 638. Blank of 80 is 50. Well, let's identify what we can figure out here. Something of this number is this number. So I'm going to bet here that the part or the portion, I'm kind of liking part. The part is 50. This is going to make this the base, so what's left? The rate. Now our formula is given to us is the portion or the part equals the base times the rate. We don't have it in the right form, do we? We're going to manipulate this. So P equals B times R. Okay? Everybody see what I did? I divided each side by B. Okay? So we can use this. So in our problem up here, the rate equals, we decided that the part or portion is 50 and the base is 80. So let's divide 50 by 80. Now that's just a decimal. Does it want us to convert them on into a percentage? Yeah. $62.15%. Everybody okay with that?
So do you want us to round up or
What's the instructions say here? It says round to the nearest 10% as needed. So we're good. It came out even on a 0.1%. Everybody okay with that? About 42. .09 is some part. Well, not your parts I want to use, the word I want to use there. So let's identify this. You're given two numbers. You want to know, first number is some percentage of the second number. I was trying to make a sentence there, and I'm just not happy with the words I have to work with. Let's work backwards. What do you think the base is? Okay. So what else do you think the .09 is? Portion or the part? How about the partian? I'm making a joke there, guys. I like part, actually. I think that's a good way of looking at it. So we have these things. What are we left with? What are we missing? Why am I on? Yeah. Had the eraser there. Okay. Now, just like before, we're going to need this version of the formula. Let me fix this here. I just want to make this a little clearer. R equals so I want to make sure you understood where I got those numbers at. I just didn't dream them up. So R equals P divided by B, and we've identified P as 0.09 and B as 2.25. Calculator. .25. So what y'all get? And we need to do what with that? Turn that into 4%, don't we? And of course I can do it right here by multiplying by 100. Screenshot. Okay. Everybody okay so far? So now let's flip over here and let's see what kind of interesting problems we really have. So these are the dreaded word problems. You know, I used to tell my students that life is a word problem. Then I realized that in life there are no words. You have to write the words first and then go from there. Okay, so with word problems, somebody else has at least worded it for you. All you got to do is solve it. So, let's see what we have here. So 656. Maria Fay bought 4 Dunlop tires at a local Goodyear store. The salesperson told her her mileage would increase by 8%. Okay. Before this purchase, Marla was getting 24 miles per gallon. What should her mileage be with the new tires to the nearest hundredth? All right, let's write down our numbers here. So, 8% increase is a what? Is a rate, isn't it? And furthermore, we know we have to do what with that? Turn it into a decimal. Now, what other numbers do we have to work with? 24 miles per gallon is, what do you think that is? That's going to be the base. Okay? And so if we have the base and the rate, we want to find the portion. So the good news is P equals BR is already in the correct form, isn't it? For us to plug our numbers in. So we're going to have 24 mpg times 0.08. Calculator says 24 times 0.08. So that would be 1.92. Now notice I wrote down my units there. So it's a 1.92 mpg. Now remember we said that's just the increase. So now what do we have to do to actually get her mileage? So the new mileage equals 24 mpg plus 1.92 mpg, or 25.92 mpg, I believe. Is that what y'all got? Yep. Everybody okay with that? Now, that's the same problem here. I just want to point out something else to you. Or let's think about it like this. The new mileage equals the old mpg plus the increase in mpg. Okay? So the old mpg is 100%, and the increase is 8%. We can express that like that. Okay? So your new mileage is actually 1.08 times your old mileage. So this is the rate. And I'm just doing all of it at once instead of figuring out the increase and then adding it to what you were getting before. I'm just condensing this. So now let's do it the new way. Your new number is going to be 24 mpg times 1.08. And you're going to get the same number. The reason I pointed this out, I want to get you used to the fact that a lot of times when you're doing something like this, whatever you start with, it's 100%. And when you're doing calculations, that 100% becomes a 1. Okay? So just kind of keep that in your back of your head because it will pop up later. Okay?
There's a lot of things back on.
Well, it just saves you a step. So what I'm saying is, for example, if I told you that I'm going to give you a 5% raise, you can take whatever you're making now, multiply by 0.05, and then get that number and add that to your existing salary. Or you could just multiply your existing salary by 1.05. Do it all in one step. But the 1 is your existing value. Okay, and that's where that comes from. That's where the 1 comes from. Okay, that pops up from time to time. So, you've been warned. Yeah, we will revisit this. All right, everybody okay with that? Let's see what else we got here. That was 56, wasn't it? How about 58? 658. Assume that in the year 2015, 800,000 people attended the Christmas Eve celebration at Walt Disney World. Only 800,000. In 2016, attendance is expected to increase by 35%. Ooh, that's going to be a lot of people, isn't it? What's the total number of people expected? Well, let's see here. Let's write down what we're given. We're given 35% increase, and I'm going to go on and turn that into a decimal. Oops. And these percentages are typically rates, aren't they? And we're told that our comparison year here, we had 800,000 people. So what do you think that is? It'll be the base. And solve for the portion, isn't it? Because we got the rate and the base. So portion equals the base times the rate. So we're solving for the portion. Keep in mind, in this case, that's just the increase. So P equals base times rate. The base was 800,000 people. The rate is point. Why did I do that again? Swiss cheese. Where's my calculator? 280,000. Clear 800,000. 0.35. So the attendance for 2016, which already happened, of course, is going to be 800,000 plus 280,000, and that gives us 1,080,000, I believe. And those are people. If you translate that into mosquitoes, What do you think, 10 per person, or it's going to be a lot of mosquitoes, isn't it? And they're all hungry. Or you want to do it all at once. Same reasoning as the previous problem. The 1 right here represents our original 800,000. And then you got 0.35% increase. Well, 0.35 is your increase, 35% increase. By the way, so far we've looked at everything up here was an increase. If you, I don't know if we got a decrease here anywhere in these problems, but if you happen to have one that says decrease, go on and convert this into a rate and put a negative sign out in front of it. A negative sign. Okay, so that's why I wrote down increase. You got to pay attention to increases and decreases because that determines positive and negative signs. Okay? Y'all okay? Nobody's head's exploded yet? $6.60. Christie's auction sold a painting for $24,500. It charges all buyers a 15% premium of the final bid price. How much did the bidder pay Christie's? So I actually think this is interesting. Sometimes they just call this a buyer's premium, but everybody understands this whole idea of an auction, don't they? Okay? Typically, the seller pays a commission to the auctioneer, whoever does the selling, but some places there's actually both a commission that the seller pays, and then there's like a buyer's premium. So the auctioneer collects basically going and coming, which I guess if you can get away with that, I guess that's the thing to do, isn't it? So does everybody understand the concept here? The auctioneers got 15% from the buyer. It doesn't tell us what they got from the seller. So let's find out what this 15% is going to be. So we're told 15% premium. Now that's positive. So let's go and turn that into a percentage, or excuse me, a decimal. And then $24,500. You're right, that's the rate. And that's going to be the base. And of course we're trying to solve for the portion. Seems like all these were solving proportion. We may have to look at one of these other problems here. Alright, again, everything's in the right format, isn't it? The portion equals the base times the rate. $24,500 times 0.15. Calculator says So what'd y'all get?
3,600.
That's a lot of money, isn't it? $36.75. Now the question was, how much did the bidder have to pay? So the bidder paid the $24,500 plus his buyer's premium. So, oops, plus 24,500. $28,175. Hope it was a pretty picture. Y'all ever watch the Antiques Roadshow on educational TV? It's kind of interesting. You know, people bring in antiques of various types, and they have the Roadshow has several appraisers, you know, experts in certain fields, and they'll tell you, a little bit about your item, and they'll tell you, make an estimate on what it's worth. And every once in a while, there's some pretty startling things. Yep. There was one, it was like an Indian blanket, and it turned out to be like worth $1 million. Yeah.
Back from Indians.
American Indians.
Yeah, I mean, was it back from years and years ago?
Yeah. And then there was one thing about some kind of a Chinese. It was a ceramic bowl. I think whoever owned it had been using it as a candy bowl or something. It was worth like $750,000. Every once in a while, somebody just like almost fall over when they, wow, I didn't know that. But I noticed something the other night, and I'd have to think about this. And I forgot what the item was. The appraiser said it's probably worth $1,500. He said, I would insure it for $3,000. I'm thinking, why isn't that insurance fraud? Really? That didn't make sense to me. Anyway, so let's see. These other problems on this sheet. Is there any of those we want to work? 57 looks hard. What's up with this? Okay. Yeah, that's easy. This looks hard, isn't it? But that's another portion equals base times the rate, isn't it? The base would be 800, and then you look up your percent, your rate for 63. 80%, turn that into a decimal, multiply by the base, and you're good to go. What about 59? Pete Smith found in his attic a Woody Woodpecker watch in its original box. It had a price tag on it for $4.50. The watch was made in 1949. Pete brought the watch to an antiques dealer and sold it for $35. What is the percent of increase in the price? Yeah, that's a little bit different. Let's look at that one. I had a Mickey Mouse watch, and I remember I came home from school one day, and my mother wound the watch, and when she did, the spring in there broke. I guess it's probably still around, in the collection of stuff that lives in the attic. Probably could be fixed. But I had a Mickey Mouse watch. Yes, I watched the original Mickey Mouse Club. What do they call those? The Mouseketeers Club. Watched the original ones. Had Annette Funicello in there. And I don't know. I can't remember the rest of them's name. Yep. She's been dead for a long time. She had cancer, I think. And yes, I had a crush on her when I was younger. A lot of people did. So, 6. Y'all don't even know who I'm talking about, do you?
Yes, I know.
I didn't even hear you say that. Let's see. 450. Let's write down our numbers first. 35. Does the 1949 have anything to do with this? No. So we could ignore that. So 450 is what it cost originally, and that's going to be our base, isn't it? And $35 is what we got for it now, so that's going to be the portion. And we're looking for what? Rate equals something. So P equals BR. If we solve this for the rate, R equals P divided by B. Everybody okay with that? So R equals the portion, which is $35, divided by $4.50. Calculator. And it doesn't hurt anything if I don't put those zeros on there. I'm not sure I agree with what the book did, but let's think this through though. Let's read this again. What is the percent of increase in price? Now, I think we should have probably done something first. My bad. Let's think about this. Let me give myself a little room here. What is the increase? The increase is the difference between $35 and what you paid for it, wasn't it? So the actual increase is like $30.50, is that right? So I think that's probably the number we should have written there. I'll think about that. There's a reason you'd want to look at it the other way. I'll have to think about that. But for the time being, let's do it this way. That's how much it went up. Now let's put that in our calculator. I'll just start over. And I'll try to think about that, think about this before next time. There's something here I want you to see. It probably says the nearest hundredth, didn't it? Now, are we through with that number? 6.778?
It actually says the nearest 100%, so when you add two more numbers.
Well, we need to turn this into a percent, don't we? Oh, you want to?
Well, I was thinking ahead, I guess.
Okay. 100%, we need this. 7, 8. Okay? All right,
I was
you're right.
thinking ahead, sorry.
I thought I'd added enough, but you're right. I just went out to the tenths. Now, are we through with that number? No. We have to turn this into a percentage. Now, watch this. I'm going to go back to my original calculation there. And I'm going to drag, I'm going to copy both these over. Take screenshot. Paste. Move it around. what do you see difference in those two calculations? And this is what I'm going to think about for next time. This is, the first calculation was percent increase. Well, it will be once you, hang on. My point is here, it's just wording. And I got to think about you'll notice this is 777.78 increase. I got to think about what word I want to put there. But this goes back to what I was telling you earlier. The base price is 1. Okay, when you do the percentages, so that's the difference. And sometimes you read a problem, it wants one thing, and sometimes it wants something else. Let me think about that. Okay. I'm going to go back in and try to assign some homework in this book thing. We'll see how that turns out. Okay. So hopefully that'll pop up in a day or two. Of course, we only got like 2 days.
You can have like a link that takes you like to the homework itself.
I think that's what I tried to do last time.
Well, and then like a separate link that like us that just use the regular book because we can't figure out the online.
No, that's a good question.
Because that online book hates me. Probably not as much as I hate it.
Oh. The devil's in there, isn't it?
Do you have this?
I'll see. Is that the one we just got through doing?
Yeah.
No, it's for you. Practice.
You did not want us to do 670 and do 6.2.
Not unless you just want to.
The fractions and these
Nah, we're good.
fractions.
We're good. Did I tell you get to use your homework and your notes on exams? So, take good notes. Okay? Of course, you know, if you do homework inside of this online book, that might be a little bit of a problem.
Maybe a little bit.
Well, I don't remember. Of course, there's a lot of things I've forgotten. I mentioned the Swiss cheese, didn't I? I'm not sure I'm the one that said let's use the online book this time. I think somebody else made that decision. You know, I'm a part-time math teacher. My real job is I teach computer and information technology. I love teaching math. Okay, so I'm a part-time. I teach the stuff nobody else wants. Okay, but somebody else might have picked the book. I can't remember. Well, the online version of the book.
I think all of us, like the very first batch, all of us but one person had the book, like the actual loose leaf book. But somebody said that it was online and we coached. So
Yeah, that's what I was told when I went to the bookstore.
yeah, that's what they said.
And they were like, the book's online, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
No money for my book.
yeah, the book's online, and we.
Are you serious?
What now?
Oh Lord, they took no money for my book. So that's a good idea that we are here.
And she still hasn't got it.
Well, go down there and yell at them.
Well, ain't gonna do no good.
Yeah, it will.
Well,
Make you feel better, won't it?
We're thinking up to the higher department.
Well, usually they do a pretty good job in the bookstore. So sometimes the wheels come off, but
but maybe just like a word thing that says in the book, do problems 720 through 850.
I'll try to remember to do that. I will try.
And can you also maybe check the homework as well, please? I don't like having a 0 out of 100. I like my grades to be at least a little decent.
Okay. I typically don't pay too much attention to that category, but
Yeah,
I give you the all the points.
Okay, I was going to say, because
Okay.
technically my probation officer for the school. That's the word of the
And that typically doesn't. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, it works out good in this class because typically anybody takes this class, you're getting ready to graduate. You're motivated. I'm going to get through this. And you will. Just keep showing up every day and we'll get through this. It'll be okay. You can get on with your life. All right? Okay. Yeah, I'll try to remember to write that down. Yeah, we'll figure out, since this is my first episode or experience with the book, we got to kind of go through the motions and figure out what works and what doesn't work. All righty?
My sister found some mistakes in her nutrition book, and she told me all about it.
So I'll see y'all on Thursday. Be careful out there.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hopefully it's going to cool down some.
And I'm supposed to-
I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
It's supposed to cool down after the rain.
Well, I'm ready for that. Ready for that. Let's see. I got to shut all this stuff down, don't I?